The best coverage of high school and college athletics in Northeast North Carolina begins now. This is NENC Sports Radio Show on WRVS 89.9.
Glad you're along for the ride for another edition of the Northeastern North Carolina Sports Radio Show. Owen Hassel, sports editor for the Daily Advance newspaper in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Of course, always with me, Malcolm Shields, Daily Advance sports writer. Power Pack weekend last weekend, Malcolm. And so far, these first few days of the week have not disappointed.
Nope.
Even with exam week, so not a whole lot from the high school ranks. But, of course, Elizabeth City State basketball has been playing and just trying to get their bearings about them.
Yeah.
Is that the best way to say it?
Pretty much. I mean, it's been a struggle.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk more about that. But first, more on Northeastern North Carolina sports. Follow us on Twitter. Also use the hashtag NENC Sports to keep the discussion rolling. You can follow us at NENC Sports. And for me, I'm at ONOBX. Malcolm?
I'm at Malcolm_Shields.
And there's more ways to stay involved with sports in Northeastern North Carolina in the form of a blog. Go to nencsports.wordpress.com for tidbits that aren't always in the Daily Advance, plus interviews and video from various Northeastern North Carolina games. Be right back after this.
You're ready to become a scholar. It's time for you to earn your bachelor's or master's degree. At Elizabeth City State University, we're proud of our strong academic programs. We offer 28 baccalaureate degrees and 4 master's degrees. ECSU also offers flexible online courses to help you achieve your goals. Start the process today. Call 800-347-3278 or find us online at ecsu.edu. Elizabeth City State University. Let us make a scholar out of you.
Just last Saturday, the Northeastern Coastal Conference had swimming and wrestling championships. Coastal 10, of course, joined the NCC with the swimming at the Albemarle Family YMCA. Camden won for the boys and girls in the Coastal 10. Not much of a surprise. Camden has a lot of swimmers this year, about 27, 28 to be exact. For a 1A program, that's a lot. So a great year for the Bruins. Meanwhile, First Flight girls won the Northeastern Coastal Championship, another not stunner. First Flight girls and boys are always in the running and typically always win, but the boys was a little different. Currituck's boys took the championship on the boys' end, of course. Tremendous job by Coach Susan Buzzer. Got to give her a lot of props. Was the boys' coach of the year as well. Very a great honor, deserving. She just had, Malcolm, maybe 2 seasons ago, 1 male swimmer. You don't win team titles with 1 swimmer.
It's kind of tough.
I can do that. I can figure that out.
Right.
That's hashtag analysis. And not only did she get a full group in a couple seasons to score points, but to win a conference championship, amazing. She's got freshmen and sophomores holding it down right now. She basically took over the youth group at Currituck. One of her former swimmers was running it. He left the area. She said, "You know what? If it's on me to help the high school program, you need to start young, just like any sport. I'll take advantage of that. I'll do that at the Currituck Y, build up the youth programs like Wendy Cobiella has done in Elizabeth City and done a fantastic job with Pasquotank River Otters and et cetera with the Y teams. She has done that in Currituck, and she is now starting to see how well that is going into the high school ranks. Those swimmers are staying with it and doing a tremendous job. Same goes for the work of Jennifer Glass and Camden Swimming, because once again, their numbers were very similar to Currituck's boys. 1, 2 swimmers. Now Camden's got things rolling. As Coach Glass said, and it's true, a bit of a shame that 1As across the state says you need at least 25% or more 1As or a classification to play a sport to have a championship just for that classification. You don't have that for swimming. You can see why. 1A schools are just not going to be many swim teams. So 1A and 2A are combined when you go to regionals, when you go to states. So they're going to be competing just like they did on Saturday with 2A schools like a First Flight it would be interesting if it was just a 1A championship, what Camden could possibly do with these teams, especially the boys, because we know Ethan Jones, area swimmer of the year last year. He dominated again on Saturday, but the Coastal 10 swimmer of the year was Brock Robertson. That's some nice depth you got there.
Absolutely.
I mean, those two in the relays are just tearing it up. Last event of the day on Saturday, I think it was a 400 free. And the last 25 yards, it was Hunter Crook from First Flight, who's a great swimmer, and Ethan Jones going at it. I mean, it was our little version of the Olympics. Right. They were right there neck and neck. It was like the most exciting part of the meet Saturday, and there was a lot of great parts of the meet. And Ethan Jones beats him out. But it was for the Coastal number one, and he was for Northeastern Coastal number one. So they both were first,
right?
Because they're separated when it comes to this championship meet. But you couldn't help but think, you know what? We know who the real winner was.
Right.
You know who the real winner was. It was Camden, who had not lost all year with that foursome in the water. Ethan Jones does a lot with club swimming in Virginia, and he's year round. And that's what it takes, like with a lot of sports. He's year round. I mean, he's always in the water. So he's not at every meet during the season. I think that was the reason why Brock Robertson got the Swimmer of the Year award. Not that he wasn't deserving, just that he was there more and picked up more top finishes for the Bruins, because Ethan Jones spends a good deal of time also in club. And when Ethan Jones comes here, people watch.
Right.
I mean, the kid knows what he's doing in the water. For the girls' side, again, Northeastern's Emily Breaux, Girls Swimmer of the Year for the Northeastern Coastal Conference. Just the first time she's gotten that, even though she's been Area Swimmer of the Year for the Daily Advance the last two seasons. Malcolm, and it just shows, again, the depth of First Flight, because we know who is usually Sarah Mandis from First Flight, who I think is now graduated. She was a state champion, so kind of hard to look past Miss Mandis and what she did for the Lady Nighthawks. Wendy Kobiela, as we mentioned before, has done a tremendous job of promoting swimming in this area. She had to coach Northeastern and Pasquotank this year. They had to get state approval to make that happen. Pasquotank had a few swimmers, didn't have a coach, and Coach Kobiela said, "No, that's not right. They need a coach. They need to be out here." So she said, "You know what? I'll just take on both." She didn't have a big team, boys and girls combined. She had about 17 swimmers, so that's a low number. She's had more than that for just Northeastern before, boys and girls. So she said, "You know what? I can handle it. I don't have to deal with the points and stuff for meets because we don't have enough numbers really for that." She says that, and then Malcolm, Northeastern girls finished second. Even with that,
right? They
finished second. That's amazing to me. She was able to get enough points here and there, and of course, Emily Breaux doing what Emily Breaux does. Just amazing what she's been able to do for about 9 or 10 seasons now with swimming in this area. She keeps saying she's going to retire every year. Even this year, though, she said, "I'm not going to say it," because it's almost like she jinxed herself. But it was neat during the meet. She's wearing a Northeastern shirt. And then, like, midway through the meet, she comes out and she's got a Pasquotank shirt.
That's cool.
She's trying to keep it. She was supposed to get a seamstress to take a shirt and cut it and put it Northeastern and Pasquotank. She's going to try to still do that, because who knows, next year she might be doing the double duty again. So a lot of swimming. I know I went through a lot of that. Wrestling, Pasquotank, still trying to figure out how these points worked out, but they worked out to where Pasquotank won the Northeastern Coastal Conference tournament title. A bit of a wild card. If you had told us last week, Malcolm, if you told us last week who was going to win the tournament title, who would it be?
I would have went with either Currituck or Edenton.
I would have went with Currituck or Currituck.
Right.
I think it's very safe to say the Knights winning the regular season title, and with the depth that Currituck Wrestling has almost every year, and Paul Bossy being a tremendous coach, they won the tournament title last year. First Flight won that state championship individual title thing. Helped when you had 3 state champions, but they do points for the state individual title, and then, of course, you have the dual team playoffs, which will be coming up here. Currituck will get in. It might be Pasquotank gets in, might be Northeastern, might be. We don't really know about the other ones. Everyone's kind of a wild card if you're not a conference regular season champion. That should be coming out in a few days. I'm just excited for Pasquotank, Malcolm, because we've had Michael Barlow on the show. We've had wrestling coach Jonathan Sutton has been on the show, and they have mentioned the idea of the mentality at the school. changing the culture. You hear that? Culture changing words. And when you win championships, that changes the culture in a hurry. That does things very quickly. So Pasquotank winning a team conference championship, which hasn't happened often in the past few years, is a big deal. It's a big deal for them. For a Northeastern, for an Edenton, for a Currituck, for a First Flight. It's become a bit commonplace. You're going to get a few conference titles every year. All you guys listen, all you fans for First Flight, Northeast, those teams I mentioned, you're getting your conference titles. You're having a good time with it. Edenton's a little more impressive because there's a small school in the conference. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing what they're doing, girls tennis, football, that kind of thing. But Pasquotank, you're lucky to get one. That's the way it's been the last 4 or 5 years. So now you already got your one. And that's big. 3 individual champs for Pasquotank: Anthony Bonner at 182 pounds, Thong Tran at 138, who wrestled with a broken lip.
Wow.
Last few matches. He just kind of patched it together and kept on going. I mean, not quite Kurt Angle wrestled the broken neck in the Olympics, but hey, that's our version of fighting it out.
Close enough.
Yeah, very much so. Jediah Simpson at 160. A lot of second place finishes. That's what also helped Pasquotank their depth to edge out the rest. And Currituck, 4 individual champions, more than any other school. Michael Culpepper at 145, Jacob Laster 152, Albert Harris 220, Chris Franco 285. Northeastern was second as a team, had 3 winners as well. Scott Marisoff 113, Walter Keller 126, and Jonathan Ward 132. And don't be surprised if First Flight doesn't win that individual team state championship thing again. They've got 3 wrestles in Arian Lee, Carlos Martinez, and Jeremiah Derby. They could win state crowns. Martinez and Derby did it last year. Martinez was the most outstanding wrestler in the conference this year. And just they've got a chance to do it. I think Lee got to the semis last year in his weight class. So First Flight, if you just get a couple of state champions as a team, you rack up points in a hurry. It's going to be a matter of what a couple of those. If you get a couple of 4th place finishes, winning a couple matches, that adds up. And pins, that's these bonus points I keep hearing about that you can get lost in the shuffle with. So there's that going on. Basketball, Wednesday, finally had a few games on the docket. Well, Tuesday, actually, too. Camden going to Manio. Camden boys basketball picking up a win. Camden's undefeated in the Coastal 10.
Yes.
Malcolm, I'm looking at you because you know the question I'm going to have. Why?
Harnley working his magic.
Mark Harnley?
Yeah.
There's not. You can't really make much of an explanation after that. It's Mark Harnley working Mark Harnley things, magic. J.R. Williams at the 5. Yeah. I'm the tallest guy when I stand out there with those guys. It's amazing what's going 10-0 in the conference. I haven't played Plymouth yet. We'll be playing them twice here very soon. We'll go to Gates on Thursday. And, of course, if you're listening on the radio, that's coming up, the high school game of the week. Clay Mercer going to bring it all to you, WRVS 89.9 FM. There's the plug. Stay on there. Stay listening right now because we know what happened the first time when Camden and Gates played, Malcolm. You know what happened.
Yeah, went right down to the wire. Gates had their opportunities to pull it out, but Red Barons had a couple mistakes down the stretch, and J.R. Williams did what he did to help them pull it out there.
And Robert Walker is like one of the best athletes in the area that you don't really know about, but you should. Football, basketball, he can do a little bit of everything. And that would probably be by far the toughest game for Camden in the conference this year. We don't even know about the 2 Plymouth games yet. And of course, Camden girls outlasted Manio as well. They're still kind of sitting in the middle of the pack because we know Plymouth is going to run right through this. The Fighting Brittany Franklin's, the Kansas commit, and Plymouth, who has made a state championship run until I think they got beat by one of those almighty charter schools that dominate the 1A scene that just get everybody in an uproar, unless you are going to the charter schools. You're absolutely fine with it. You're absolutely fine with the factories. That's how that goes. But so we got Plymouth, and then Perquimans. we can't forget Brookwomen's.
Yeah, quietly they've got one of the top records, at least the girls in the conference. I mean, they're right there with Plymouth, and can they get on a roll and challenge the mighty Vikings?
Yeah, and see, Brookwomen's has Plymouth again, like you said, Friday. Brookwomen's boys beat Plymouth the first time, and I guess my question would be why? How? Excuse me. How did it happen?
Yeah, but
it did. Brookwomen's has a lot of nice pieces.
Keenan Downing, Dwan Williams, Dallas Hall got a nice little core there, and it's gonna be interesting to see if they can get on a roll here.
They've got the size that Camden longs for this year. See what I did there? Longs for. Yeah, that people. I'm here. I mean, we're on the show every week, but you got Malik Leach, you got Bailey Simons. There's a lot there that when they're playing at their best, I think they could beat anybody in this conference. They've shown it. I don't know what happened with Camden. Sometimes I think they Brookwomen's themselves against Camden. There's just some type of block there. People say, and stop being mean. I'm not being mean. I'm just telling it. There's something there. We remember with football, a lot of these kids play the same sport, right, and women should have won that game. No doubt about it. Yeah. Should win that game. And it's the same situation in basketball. Brookwomen's, I believe that rematch is at Brookwomen's with Camden.
Correct.
So if you're Brookwomen's, you got to win that. You've got to get past that block. You've got the talent to beat Camden, especially if Camden's having an off night shooting. If Zach Roberson and Brock Colson aren't hitting some jumpers, that's going to put so much more on J.R. Williams, and you can just double him. Can Brookwomen's basketball, Malcolm, win the conference championship? There's no tournament this year.
I think they'll compete for it, but it seems like Plymouth's really starting to get their legs on the room. That first meeting they played, you got to think that maybe with the football team still on a run during the state football championship, maybe some of those key guys weren't back yet, and Brookwomen's took advantage of it. So with their full complement of guys, you got to think that Plymouth's getting on a roll. I think a couple weeks ago they really beat up on Gates. So I think Brookwomen's will stay in the conversation, but I think I don't think they have enough to overcome Plymouth, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can catch up Camden.
Yeah, I just don't want to sit here. We do the whole buy and sell kind of thing. I just don't want to. I don't want to buy yet. I bought a lot of Brookwomen's stock in the football season. I bought a lot of it. I lost my tail on it. Absolutely did. That's a team that should have gotten to the third round of the state playoffs. Yeah. It was a nice road because they got dropped down to the 1A. They weren't in 1AA like Camden, and it was right there for them to get. Brookwomen's football gets to the third round of the playoffs, and we said it before about Coach Aaron Burke. If he gets to the third round, he beats Camden, you have a hard time saying, no, Coach, you're not coming back. You're just entering for a reason. You have a hard time saying it then. And basketball, gosh, you feel like they're the most complete team, though, in the Coastal 10. I mean, somebody else has a tough night. Someone else can pick up the slack for them. I think it's hard to say that when it's a Camden this year, maybe when it's a Gates, and maybe Plymouth. So it's just a matter of them putting it all together because the talent is there. It absolutely is there. Here's a team that we've been rooting for. Well, maybe I've been rooting for. You don't care. Yeah, you do. Just kidding. Edenton boys basketball. 3 games lost in overtime, and then 4 other games lost by a combined 11 or 12 points. You got to think Robert Woodley's going to get it together with these guys. They're right there. And look what's happening. They have won 3 in a row. They beat Currituck Wednesday night, 54-35. Nyquay Powell, 13 points. Camonte Rayner, the freshman that I've been raving about in the paint, 10 points. Lavernon Randall, 10 points. As coaches telling me, they're just playing with a lot more sense of urgency. Well, I hope so. The season's already halfway through. And 5-8 now overall, 2-3 in the conference. Do you know who they play back-to-back games this week?
I believe it's Northeastern.
Northeastern.
Oh, boy.
They got Northeastern in Elizabeth City Friday, and they got them in Edenton on Saturday. It's really strange how it works out that way. It was a combination of football season being later for them and then the winter weather. So now they're playing back-to-back games. I'd almost hate to be the team that wins the first one because then you're almost in a false sense of security. But I think whoever wins the first will probably win the second. I don't know. But the way Eaton's playing right now, you got to think you give them a much better chance against Northeastern than you did 2 or 3 weeks ago.
It's interesting what a one win can do and get these kids a little confidence. They beat Pasquotank last week, and it seems like they're a little bit on a roll right now. But again, Northeastern, there's a reason why they've been on top of this conference for the past few years in boys basketball. Eaton's going to have to bring their A game.
Yeah, I mean, they've beat Pasquotank, then they beat Northside, and then here against Currituck, a team they lost to in Barco. They are the team right now you probably don't want to see in the conference. Well, you don't want to see Northeastern Hertford County. But I mean, the team that is on the rise and perhaps playing its best basketball right now, which is when you want to play your best basketball, knowing that the regular season, guys, ends in a couple weeks. It's right here. And we can't overlook that. It is right here. And then Edenton girls. Currituck girls they've been struggling with some injuries. They've had some different things going on that have been things they can't control. But Edenton girls winning.
Yeah, 47-42 on Wednesday. Well, for Currituck, Lindsay Likens had 17 and Lauren Gurney had 10. But it seems like that Pasquotank loss last week seems like maybe it's still lingering around with them. And then they had to go to Bertie, and they only scored, I believe, either 19 or 20 points. So it's been a struggle for the Lady Knights the past couple games in conference play.
Yeah, if their game is predicated on 2 offensive possessions a half. Holding the ball is what I mean.
Yeah.
And frustrating the other team by just holding the ball. We're not just talking 4 corners, we're talking forever holding the ball.
Very nice.
That's what it is. And it works. Matt Dixon knows his system, and that's what his players are designed for. He knows what to do. We've praised Matt Dixon on the show many times as being a great coach. And however, it's going to open the door for somebody else to fall in second place. Everyone's gunning for second. Bertie ain't losing that spot. I know Bertie lost to Riverside. That was their first loss of the year. Riverside's a top 5 1A team, though. Right. So not a whole lot of shame in that. They've got Miss Kayla Jones, who's going to NC State. Riverside's a pretty daggone good team. Bertie's going to be fine in the Northeastern Coastal. They'll go a few rounds in the playoffs. But second place in this conference, I'm going to throw a school out there that I think will get second. I'm actually stealing Malcolm's thunder because he told us about this during the break. Pasquotank.
Yes. Lady Panthers. Maya Simpson, Daisy Williams. They've got a nice little core that's kind of come together the past couple of years, and it seems like this may be their year. I mean, that was a pretty big win for them to go into Currituck last week and get that win in overtime. That's kind of been like their big monster trying to get over Currituck outside of Bertie. Those teams have been back and forth, for Pasquotank to finally figure out how to play against that type of the rhythm that Currituck plays, and to finally get over the hump is pretty big for them. Yeah.
When you're looking at a Currituck team that could finish 4th in the conference, when we thought for sure they'd be second, not first. Right. We all knew it'd be first, but second, like they've been the last couple of years. But now we're looking at 4th because you could have Edenton 3rd, and but you're looking at Northeastern again, maybe 5th, maybe 6th. I mean, they lost the first flight,
right?
With Brianna Proctor, who is the best post player in the Northeastern Coastal Conference. I don't think there's a lot of argument over that. All of these 30, 20 games she keeps putting up game after game, and she's looking better and better. So you got to have someone to give her the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, she can't carry the ball up the court.
Right.
I mean, I know maybe some Mark Harnley magic needs to sprinkle into the heck on Northeastern girls and see if she can play the one somehow, but that's not happening. At least not right now. Early this week, too, though, we had something else come about. Real excited about it because National Signing Day is about a week away. And all the buzz, Malcolm, isn't about players that will sign. It's about players who can't sign for another 2 years. Yeah, we're talking about Northeastern football's Trevion Freshwater and J.R. Walker, the super sophomores, Fresh Walker, so Fresh Walker, so clean, Walker on water. We'll put it all out there. We're going to make their heads explode.
Got to trademark that. Yes.
Yes. You said you were half joking. I was like, stop at that. Stop with the laughter. I thought, you know what? Maybe if that does blow, if they go to one school.
Right. Put on a T-shirt.
And if they go to one school, we'll sell some T-shirts on it. Have a good time with it. But yeah, here's the offers they have so far. Again, sophomores, 15 years old, not even 16 yet. Duke, NC State, UNC, East Carolina, South Carolina. And guess who came on Tuesday to see these guys? Brent Venables, defensive coordinator at Clemson.
National champs.
Yeah, national champs. And you would say, wow, what are they doing here? Well, yeah, what are they doing here? This is why they're here. They came to see these guys work out. And Freshwater had a better 40 time than J.R. Walker.
Wow.
And when you see Freshwater these days, he looks like he's 24.
Yeah. Yes.
There's no doubt about it. And look at the photos we've had of him in the paper or look online. It's there. They were running like basketball high top shoes for this 40. It's not like they were using any track cleats or anything. They just kind of went out there and said, okay. And here they are running like 4.53. I mean, I looked up NFL combine guys at defensive end or linebacker. Freshwater was right there with them.
It's impressive.
With NFL combine guys. 15 years old. He is 15. I haven't seen his birth certificate, but I'm going to go with the 15. And J.R. Walker is the same way. Of course, Walker doesn't look as imposing, but he's just as good. Yeah. People, if you're a fan of Northeastern football, get ready because you better get to that championship game in these next 2 years. The pressure is on. It is on. You got to worry about the Aces anymore.
Nope.
The Aces like, we're just going to do Aces things without two guys like that because they don't grow them like that around here too much. But Aces are down in 1A. Wallace Rose Hill is going to be the bugaboo in 2A. And then Clinton. But these next 2 years, there's not going to be anybody in the East in 2A that's going to have two guys like this. And we got them in the corner. We talk about athletes living here. Here's another example of it. Brent Venables in Virginia Beach. He's seeing guys in Hampton Roads. Why not? People go to Hampton Roads all the time. Top talent, 757. We can list all the names of guys in the last 15, 20 years and just blows your mind. He's up there during the day. He comes down to Elizabeth City just to see these two guys. But he had to get back up to Virginia Beach to see a few more guys that are playing basketball. Why would he sit there and make the detour for a few hours and then go back up there? And what would be maybe wasting his time? That's how special these two guys are. He went out of his way for this. Clemson coming here?
Yeah.
Clemson?
It's pretty big.
Alabama has been in some discussions with this. Bama. I know Clemson just beat them, but we're still talking Bama. This is going beyond just our usual scope here, people. This is getting to be big, and we're going to hear from J.R. Walker and Travion Freshwater a little bit later in the show. But wow, it gets us blown away by this, and it's fantastic, and it's highlighting this area that the athletes are here. Brent Venables walked away. He was genuinely like, hey, we're going back to Clemson a day or two. And we're going to talk about this next group of guys. During last weekend, Walker and Freshwater went to NC State. They did a photo shoot for Tom Lemming, who's like the Mel Kiper of high school recruiting. They were listed among 10 or 12 other guys in a photo of the top sophomores in the state. They were in there. Two guys from a 2A school in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Whoops, our fault. Didn't know they had athletes here. Whoops. There they are.
Now they know.
They know. And more people are noticing. And, well, to Duke's credit, they were the first ones to notice. They were the first ones that offered J.R. Walker back in the summer. And he was wearing that little wristband with Duke, all proud about it and excited because this is a 15-year-old kid. I'd been stoked. And I hate Duke. I would have been stoked about it.
Yeah.
But he was wearing a big NC State wristband the other day. He just saw NC State.
Yep.
They went right across the street from Cardinal Gibbons High School to NC State and participated and talked to people. It was a good time for him. Just a lot happening, and it's real exciting to see. As far as guys who will sign, Trey Sawyer from Northeastern is going to commit to UNC Pembroke. He had more than 190 tackles this year for Northeastern. A great kid. This is a great fit for him. A late bloomer guy, but he will fit in with UNC Pembroke. I guarantee you that. Trey Bryant, I think, is looking at Elizabeth City State. Another guy from Northeastern. I think they call him Rocky Mount because he's from Rocky Mount. some of these nicknames aren't so
pretty
good. I mean, yeah. It's like, hey, we call him Malcolm. What's his nickname? Malcolm. M. Shields? I don't know. Can't come up with anything good enough. But those are a couple we do know about. Kyle Dixon from Currituck is committed to Chowan. Was a swimmer this weekend. We're talking 6'6", 300 and some pounds, swimming the 400. He swam the 400 free.
Not easy.
And he finished it. It's amazing. People were just going nuts about it. I was going nuts about it. I was breaking character going nuts about it. They do the senior day. He's on the blocks, celebrating the seniors from each school. Not only does he sit there and says, hey, everybody, he does a cannonball in the pool.
Very
Picture
nice.
that. Half the water went out of the pool. Oh. Man, no, it didn't go out of the pool. He's a great kid. He's a great kid to talk to. I enjoy talking to him, and Kyle Dixon is going to do some good things there for Chowan football. But it'll be interesting to see what ECSU signs up. I talked to Ernest Wilson on Wednesday, and he tried to downplay a lot of it, and it's true. Schools like ECSU, they don't get a lot of signings that first day. Mm-hmm. People got to remember, National Signing Day, it doesn't you don't have to just sign that day and that's it. It goes on for months.
It's day one for...
Right. It's just day one. Mm-hmm. Like you can do it right at midnight kind of thing. And it's excitement. It's like Christmas. And it's gotten to be a big commercialized thing, but it's fun. And I think ECSU will have maybe 5-6 guys sign the first day. That tends to be the trend. And then others trickle in April and then May. But we'll just have to see more when we get closer to the day. There's a lot of information out there, Malcolm. I don't know any way to get to segue here. Since we entered the era of Trump, a lot of different information going around that don't know what to believe, including alternative facts. This befuddles me. Mm-hmm. But then I realized, there's some alternative facts in northeastern North Carolina. We always like to localize a national story.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and get to a few of these. The Camden Gym holds 50,000 people, period. I did not know that. I didn't know. I mean, that's like 4 Camden counties.
Yeah, that one side of the bleach is pretty big. So
it is pretty large. The free throw line has always been called the Candy Stripe, period. I just blew my mind. At that, I don't just call it a free throw line. I just didn't know there were other words for it. Ernest Wilson coached Peyton Manning, period. See, I've had my doubts on it, but the alternative facts tell me different. First Flight basketball does not attempt 3-point shots, period. I have to maybe wonder about that. Yeah. We got to call Chad Williams on that. I just feel like the First Flight at some point this season has attempted a 3-pointer.
Maybe at some point it'll shoot a 4-point shot.
Yes. Like an NBA Jam type game or something. Boom shakalaka from downtown. Sounds more like Bill Walton. Throw it down, big man. Bill Walton. Why is he on the show? I'm not going to mention him on the show. COA will play baseball and softball this year, period. Wow. That's a startling revelation from the Dolphins. Lake Taylor stats are accurate, period. Boy, these alternative facts. And, of course, the one we can't forget, Northeastern beat Edenton twice in football, period.
Zing.
Going to get off this on a high note so we can get to a break. We'll be back with more Northeastern North Carolina athletics.
Keep this conversation going right now on our Facebook page. More NENC Sports Radio Show is coming up.
Discover graduate education at Elizabeth City State University. ECSU currently offers 4 graduate degree programs: elementary education, biological sciences, school administration, and mathematics. To learn more, contact the Office of Graduate Education at 252-335-3947 or online at ecsu.edu.
Why not bring the show back in with some Justin Bieber? The 80s version of Justin Bieber. A little saxophone in there. Yeah. He would be the... How would you relate Justin Bieber to an 80s singer? I'll go Richard Marx. He's the Richard Marx of our time. minus the talent.
Ooh.
Richard Marks is a man. Okay. Ain't nothing you can do about it. People know what I did there. Okay, Shamal now.
Jump on, get on me, all right.
When you ask for questions before granting an interview, don't expect the journalist to simply hand them over. You have follow-up questions, though, that you can't predict until an interview starts. I mean, imagine being a coach and being told by an administrator every play to run in a game before the game starts. This is what you'll run this time, this is what you'll run that time. I mean, no one else had trouble answering why there's a shortage of officials in the area, Mr. Pennington. And if you were more welcoming to add your input, it might help in recruiting more of them. Your loss. Shamal now.
Jump on.
As we talked about a bit earlier, got a chance to talk to both Travion, So Fresh Water, So Clean. I'm getting all my stuff mixed up now. And J.R. Walker on water. After their workout in front of Clemson coaches, and the workouts they've had for a few coaches here in just the past couple of weeks has been amazing. Again, all the attention going to just two sophomores. It's going to make for a very interesting National Signing Day 2019. 2019. Oh, boy. Aren't these kids like 20 by now? I mean, they're still 15. I feel like in the time we've talked, they've at least turned 16. Right. They're just that big. Well, here's more from Freshwater and Walker. Guys, you've been looked at by a number of major schools, and you're both only 15 years old. Is this a little tough to process, a little hard to comprehend? What is this like?
It's a great experience. I mean, I just love it. I don't really know what to say. I'm just happy.
Right. You've been to NC State. You've had Clemson come to see you. You got offers from South Carolina, UNC, Duke. Are you just trying to take it in? Are you not trying to get a big head about this? What is it going on?
I mean, it's a true blessing, but I'm just trying to be humble at the same time. I mean, right now I still got high school to worry about getting through. Just look forward my senior year.
JR, you're in the same situation, and what is your mentality through all this?
Well, just not let it get to my head. Still gotta get through high school, like Trey said, and stay humble. Because you let it get to your head, that's when things start to go bad. So,
what's one of the experiences that has stuck out though? One of those things you're just going, "Wow, this is really cool." What's something that you can think of just in the past couple of weeks?
The first one would have to be when Virginia Tech came down. Bud Foster, when he came, that was a surprise. And the day when Coach Moore said Clemson was coming, that was a surprise too.
Mm-hmm. You?
I mean, just saying when Virginia Tech came, Clemson came, got showing a little bit of stuff, footwork, lifting weights, I-40. I mean, just.
What's the one thing you've heard from each coach that they said you had to work on? One thing in particular that you're hearing each and every time?
Staying consistent, with your plays and stuff like that. And make sure you get your grades in, because you don't want to come your senior time and you're trying to pick around what classes to take to graduate.
Mm-hmm. Same grades, just stay humble, keep working, and I think that's about it.
What are your friends and family telling you? It's very rare that two players from one school in this area are getting this type of exposure. It's a pretty big deal. And then what are they telling you?
Good job, keep working, but at the same time, you got to watch your friends because they will backfire you just do anything just to not see you make it jealous.
Mm-hmm. They just keep telling us to keep God first and can't do anything without Him. So we give all honor to God for this blessing.
What's the one thing you two feel like you have to work on more the next 2 years, like about Northeastern football, though? What to do to make Northeastern get to that extra level?
Step up to the plate, be a vocal leader, lead by example in school, off the field, on the field. Just be a better leadership and do right.
Push each other, like he said, all around, in the neighborhood and stuff like that. Not just push each other, but push the teammates to do better also.
Would you say last year losing the Eatonton, sorry to bring up that memory, makes you a little humble here? Like, yeah, we're getting all these looks. We didn't get to the championship last year. We were supposed to. Does that leave a little bit of taste?
Yes, it do. It makes me just want to push the team more and just get back at it. And just work harder.
I really got much to say about it, but it really did leave a sour taste in our mouth. So just gotta get back at it, and once we play them again, just try to come up with a W this time.
You guys are cousins.
Yes, sir.
Second cousins? First cousins.
Yeah.
Would you be a package deal somewhere?
That's the dream. We both have schools and similar. His dream school is Virginia Tech, mine is Clemson, but maybe we can.
It's Owen Hassel and Malcolm Shields back with, let me see how many episodes we've had now. I'm losing count, 23 of the third season. We're past the halfway point.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're getting, not that we want to leave, it's just, it's season's moving along really fast. Well, time for a Twitter shout.
Your tweets go here. Twitter shouts.
This one comes from the account at one lead to follow. Tweet says 7 points and 4 rebounds for NENC Sports' own and Hampton University Trey Carver. Trey Carver, of course, last year's Area Player of the Year for boys basketball, signed with Hampton. And one of the unusual unveilings of a signing I've seen in a while. The cover was blown.
Whoops.
When everyone showed up with the Hampton shirts underneath jackets. They had already told me the night before they were picking Hampton. I didn't want to say anything. I wanted to make it exciting for them. I didn't want to blow the cover. And then one coach starts talking. Trey Carver, you've done great things here. You're a good man. You're going to move on and do some good things. You're really good in the classroom, and you've always been a joy to coach. And I know Hampton's getting a great player. Ooh, the looks on those guys. I did a few memes on that because I got a photo of Trey and AC, his dad, and Maury, his sister, and looking over at the coach like, you. It's like that look when someone eats the last pork chop. Something like that. Everyone turns. You can do all the memes. That's just one. It just came up top of my head. But I'm glad he's doing well at Hampton and getting time because he got hurt, obviously, in the 2A East Regional Final last year and was still recovering. I mean, through the summer.
Yeah, long road to get healthy, and it's good to see that he's back out there on the court.
Yeah. We encourage all of you to tweet about NENC Sports, and yours might get put on the air. Thoughts, questions, whatever you might have. We'll do our best to talk about them, answer them. Use the hashtag NENC Sports. On Sunday, we have the annual all-area banquet, the fall edition. Of course, this is for the Daily Advance's top athletes in the corner of northeastern North Carolina. That's going to be held at the Northeastern Cafeteria. Former Bertie standout and current Canadian Football League player Travis Bond is going to be the guest speaker. And Malcolm, we got a couple surprises in store for the athletes. Not going to blow the cover like that coach did, but looking forward to doing a couple different bells and whistles and for the banquet. And it's a great time. You get to meet a lot of the parents. So the athletes are always very appreciative that their kids are getting extra recognition. These are nice plaques and trophies for them. It's not just certificates we're doing for this. Antonio Moore has been big on this. Got to give the Northeastern football coach a lot of credit. He came up with the idea to start doing it. And I said, hey, just tell me where to sign. I'll help out as best I can. I mean, him and I know a lot of his family members help out with the cooking. And that's where parents pay to get in with the athletes for free because you got to try to pay for them trophies and pay for the cooking. And that gets pretty high dollar after a while when you're trying to cook for 100, 200 people. Looking to maybe have 200 plus people on Sunday for this banquet. That's the biggest number it would be ever. Maybe it would be huge. Be a real big number. It's going to be really big. It's probably going to be like 1 million people waiting outside. It's really big. I tell you this. You can't see me, but I'm doing the hand signals too. Because I got to get in the full Trump mode. It's just huge.
Alec Baldwin would be proud.
I mean, the last banquet was terrible. I don't know who ran it, but it was terrible. Nobody was there. Nobody. I mean, I looked out and I saw a lot of people. It was amazing. It was just incredible. 4 million, 8 million. We're probably out there. 15 million were out there wanting to get in, and they couldn't. It was amazing. It was something else. I tell you what. And And that'll happen again because we're making the NENC sports great again. It's already great, not the again stuff. So I went off on a tangent. So what? That's the all-area banquet coming up on Sunday. Lady Vikings, though, they've lost 7 in a row. But Wednesday night, they took Virginia Union to the wire. We're talking about the number 2 ranked team in the country. They took Virginia Union to the wire. John Hill and company had a great game plan here. Was essentially throw out the play clock. We don't please just take it out. Shot clock, excuse me. No shot clock. Take all the air out of the ball as you could. You know, Tom Brady was jealous about how much air was out of these basketballs.
Very nice.
When it came to Little City State women's. I mean, John Hill's hand was getting worn out, having to stick it out there with a stop sign every time they took the ball and tried to maybe push it a half step too much. Nope. Stop. To the point where Jasmine Nixon was grabbing a few rebounds, could have went back up. She just threw it right back out. Stop it. Because we got another 30 seconds that hit the rim there. We got to use up those 30 seconds. Almost every shot opportunity, correct me if I'm wrong, Clay, went down to like 5-7 seconds left on the shot clock. Every single one of them. And that's what they had to do to stay within range of a team that loves to run and will get fast break after fast break. Last year, ECSU and Union did play a tight game in the first half as well. And then the second half, you would have never known. A couple turnovers, and they just ran crazy. I thought that was going to happen again Wednesday night. It didn't. Union did take the lead, went up by as many as 9. But that mental aspect of not going down by 10 or more, there is something to that. And it's a 3-possession game, and there's still 6 minutes left. And ECSU clawed back. It was a 1-possession game, Malcolm, with like 30, 40 seconds left. Boy, if ECSU had beaten Virginia Union, don't you think that'd be the biggest upset in the CIAA this year?
Absolutely. Maybe in a long time. I mean, they're number 2 ranked in the nation, and they were in the Elite 8 last year in the NCAA Division II tournament. I mean, this team's pretty good. They had a young lady out for last year's team, now playing overseas professionally. I mean, Union's for real.
Yeah. So the last couple games we've seen where ECSU, the Lady Vikings, have really struggled. They only scored 9 points in the first half at Johnson C. Smith and got throttled by 32. And then they come home 2 nights later and put on a really gritty display. It makes you optimistic again. Like, they play like that, Malcolm, they're going to win a couple more games in the CIAA this year. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they'll do in the tournament, but they'll win a couple more games in the CIAA. It puts my stock higher with ECSU women again than the men. And that's why I'm going to throw it over to you, because you've seen.
It was a tough one on Wednesday night for the men. Just the energy wasn't there. Just the not focus on the details, especially on the defensive end. Union got up the floor and got some easy baskets. The Vikings setting for some long range shots. You know that sent off Virginia Union in the transition. A lot of easy buckets. Coach Lou Grimsley said, that the effort wasn't there defensively. He's looking to say, hey, if they can get a couple days of rest and get his guys, ready for Bowie State on Saturday, we'll see what the Vikings can do to try to get a turnaround and get a conference win. I mean, they're starting to run out of games at this point.
I don't think they get one. I've been saying the last few weeks they will.
Right.
Now I don't know. It would have to be Lincoln at home.
Yeah. Or someone just not on their game that night, not making shots, and the Vikings, find a way to pull it out, but it's hard to see where they're going to get that win.
When you lose 2 or 3 close ones like ECSU has lost, now it's mental for them. Like, well, now we just can't get over the hump. Now we're pointing fingers. I mean, we're pointing at people. We're placing blame on different folks. And we have an interim coach right now. We know this guy really isn't the guy. The excuses start coming. They start coming in waves. I don't think they're there in waves for the women like they are for the men. That doesn't mean John Hill necessarily comes back as a women's coach, but there is something there. And he's got a very little piece of foundation that he can build on. I don't know if there's anything with the ECSU men.
I think John Maynard has a lot of potential, a little raw as a freshman. He shows some flashes, but again, he's a freshman. I think if you're going to go off of that, I think Maynard would be one of your guys if you want to say he's a building block. Elon Edwards, he has his moments at times, but I think if you're looking, to project 2-3 years down the line, John Maynard would probably be one of your top guys.
Well, more college hoops. We got Mid-Atlantic Christian, of course. Men have struggled quite a bit, too. I think they do have 3 wins on the year. The women are 9-9. So they're still hanging on. There's some life. They're still ranked in the United States Collegiate Athletic Association's Division II poll, ranked 13th as of this past week. So still in the running for maybe getting into that USCAA tournament, which would be, I mean, they've already got more wins than last year. Mm-hmm. They're on track to possibly have a winning record. And they've only got 7 players. They just added another player, just a student on campus. Coach Charlie Troxel said, "Hey, do you know how to dribble basketball?" "Yes." "You're on the team." Need a player. Need somebody. Down to 6. Montana Moore was a big loss for them during the winter break. She was definitely somebody inside that she could do wonders for ECSU, let alone for MACU she was, and now she's left the program. So you were down to 6 players. 6 good players for that level of college basketball, but 6 is 6. Yeah. Hard to practice with that. Mm-hmm. Hard to play with that. So at least you have one more player, to help even things out. The MACU men play host Chowan on Thursday. So we'll definitely get to see more of what the Mustangs have to offer. Now, not expecting any kind of victory, but just where have they progressed? Where? That should be interesting in itself. I think we did pretty good there.
Not bad.
Yeah. I think we can safely close this edition of the NENC Sports Radio Show. Even though I always feel like I'm missing something when I start saying that. And I usually do, then I throw it in here. But so far I haven't. You know what? I did. Keeman Bailey. Somebody asked us, emailed us about Keeman Bailey again. Because we're hearing about Travion Freshwater and J.R. Walker, where Keeman Bailey's going to be a senior next year. Does he have any offers? The answer is no. There's interest, but no offers. It would be Division II offers if he gets anything. Right now, the GPA is in pretty good shape. He's got to take the ACT. But Keeman Bailey is on the right track. He just doesn't have an offer yet. And I think I've said it before. He's the next. He could be a poor man's Tariq Cohen for Division II school. He could be put in the right system. I don't know if Little City State is the right system. I think you've discussed this a few times.
No, I looking at Coach Wilson's offense, he's pass first, and it'll be difficult for Keeman to try to translate over to Coach Wilson's offense. If he can find, like you said, a nice fit where they run the football, I think that'll be a good spot for him.
Yeah. Crazy part about it was I was talking to one of the Clemson coaches, and they were asking more about the Freshwater and Walker's temperament and everything. I said, the crazy part about it is you see these two guys, neither one of them were the area player of the year. I was like, what? There's a kid in Eatonton that ran for 2,800 plus yards with the option. He's a player of the year in the area. Now he's smaller. He's probably a D2 guy, but just letting you know the depth of the athletes in the northeastern corner. He just kind of shook his head like, you got to be kidding me. Because these two guys just ran high-top basketball sneakers at the 40, and Freshwater does 18 reps of 225 on the bench. Yeah. Just pumping them. I'm
just sore thinking about it.
Yeah, he could have done 20. He wasn't worn out. I mean, they feed off each other. They're first cousins. Yeah. I mean, they feed off each other. They've known each other so long. So, all right, now I'm better. Obviously, remember to follow us on Twitter at NENC Sports. I'm at ONOBX Malcolm.
I'm at Malcolm_Shields.
For the latest sports updates, and pick up a copy of the Daily Advance newspaper. But on YouTube, we're on searching for either WRVS 89.9 or NENC Sports. Rowan Hassel, Malcolm Shields. It's the NENC, and don't you see,
athletes live here.
NENC Sports Radio Show is produced at the WRVS-FM studios on the campus of Elizabeth City State University.